According to General Hospital spoilers, Jason Morgan may be in for a life-changing shock, now that he is on a collision course with reality. Anna Devane asked Jason to perform some research for her, so he'll eventually continue with his Professor Henry Hank Dalton study. That could lead to some major surprises for Jason, so let's chat about what disclosures may be in store for him. For starters, Jason might discover that Jocelyn Jack's research assistant position isn't quite what it appears to be. Jocelyn did pursue Professor Dalton's research assistant position, but only because it was part of her WSB mission. Jason may eventually discover the true facts and understand Jack Brennan recruited Joss for this perilous professional path. However, Jason may be in for an even larger surprise. Britt Westbourne's anticipated comeback to the show. Kelly Thibault will be back on screen soon, as her return to General Hospital is scheduled for July. Could there be captives within Professor Dalton's lab, given the attention it has received? Emma Scorpio Drake is concerned about animal testing, but human testing may be a more serious issue in this situation. There have also been indications of a cloning storyline, so the authors may be planning a mechanism to explain Britt's return from the dead. It's possible that a Britt clone is on its way to Port Charles, but it's also plausible that the original Britt has returned after some soapy explanation. It's possible that Britt's clone met a bad end. Regardless, we wouldn't be surprised if some version of Britt is stuck in Dalton's lab. Could Jason break in and free her? Jason has always excelled in rescue narratives, but it would be especially amazing to watch him save Britt. That's because Jason and Britt's romantic reunion appears unavoidable now that Thibault has returned to the program. Jason could definitely use a love interest, and saving Britt may be the first step toward rekindling their passion. According to General Hospital spoilers, Jason is in for some wild twists and turns, so keep an eye out for updates on all of the shocking news he will encounter. Jason Morgan never meant to revisit that aspect of his past. For months, he had moved through life with a peaceful detachment, immersing himself in Sonny's organization's operations, handling logistics, dealing with external dangers, and generally holding his emotions at bay. Jason had always survived by remaining calm, reasonable, and free of sentimentality. But the truth was, every now and then, someone would break through his carefully crafted armor. Britt Westbourne has already done exactly that. He assumed such feelings had been buried long ago. However, that conviction was about to be tested in the most unexpected and catastrophic way. It all started with a simple phone call from Spinelli, in the middle of the night. Jason was already up, reviewing surveillance reports in his penthouse. Spinelli's voice quiver, quickly alerting Jason. "Britt's gone," he explained. "She never returned from her shift last night. Her car is still parked in the hospital lot." Jason sat up straighter. "Have you checked the cameras? There is a 2-hour blackout. They allege that a power surge destroyed the feeds. Jason didn't need any more. Something was wrong, and when things went wrong in Port Charles, they usually escalated quickly. Within 15 minutes, he was downstairs and riding his bike toward General Hospital. He did not call anyone. He did not express his worries. He merely acted." Jason excelled at moving. At the hospital, he tracked Britt's last known movements. Security remained tight-lipped, but a sympathetic nurse revealed Britt had received a suspicious text message immediately before leaving her floor. She hadn't said anything. She'd simply grabbed her coat and dashed out. That occurred 2 hours before the power outage. Jason's instincts were screaming right now. Britt didn't simply vanish. She'd been taken. Spinelli's phone had been pinging for hours. It had last signaled from an abandoned dockyard on the south side of town, a favored location for illicit trades, particularly those that did not want law enforcement attention. Jason did not hesitate. He armed himself and set forth, his pulse hammering with fear and rage. The dockyard was quiet, the kind of silence that made your skin crawl. Jason moved like a shadow with gun drawn and eyes scanning. The warehouse near the edge of the sea appeared abandoned, but Jason detected a faint glimmer of light inside. He crept closer, placing his back against the wall and listened. There are voices inside. Male. Arguing. And then there's Britt. Her voice sounded muffled and furious. Jason clenched his jaw. She was alive. He breached the warehouse with deliberate accuracy. The first 2 men didn't see him coming. A sharp hit to the head knocked one down. The second involves a clean takedown followed by a disarmed weapon. A A third man raised his gun, but Jason fired first center mass. Without hesitation, Britt was chained to a chair, her face damaged but her spirit unbroken. When she looked up and saw him, her breath caught. Jason. He worked rapidly to untie her. We have to move. Now. Wait, she replied, regaining her breath. They were talking about transferring me to Cassadine territory. Jason's blood became chilly. The Cassadines, particularly Victor's faction, did not kidnap for ransom. They abducted to gain leverage. For silence. For experimentation. Whatever they wanted from Britt was not going to go well. As Jason helped her to her feet, the warehouse doors creaked open. Reinforcements. Stay behind me, he said, tensing up. Britt did not argue. The following 5 minutes were chaotic, with shooting, scurrying behind containers, and Jason covering every angle. Britt even retrieved a firearm from one of the fallen guards and fired back, holding her own. She was a doctor, not a fighter, but she possessed tenacity. And Jason respected that more than he could express. After they were released, Jason led her to a safe house on the outskirts of town. It was one of Sunny's underused properties, free of any digital footprints. Only a few people were aware of its existence. As the door closed behind them, the adrenaline started to fade. Jason examined Britt's wounds. They were slight, but they need attention. He cleansed her cuts silently. She winced once or again, but did not complain. Their gazes met as he placed the final bandage into place. Thank you, she muttered. He nodded. They didn't injure you too much? No. Just scared me. Her voice broke. I thought I was going to die in there. Jason sat next her. For a moment neither spoke. And then she ended the stillness. You came for me. I always would, he replied softly. That was when the tension shifted. Something old and familiar hovered between them. Memories, unresolved feelings, and sorrow. Their previous relationship had not ended well. Britt pushed him away when she realized how much she cared. Jason had let her leave because he believed she deserved better than her perilous surroundings. But tonight things changed. It reminded them both that, in a community filled with betrayal and secrets, their bond had once been genuine. Something worthy of fighting for. Jason rose abruptly. I'll take the first watch. Britt reached for his hand. Stay. Just for a short while. He paused. Then he sat down again, this time closer. I thought about you, she said. Even after we finished it. I did not want to. But I did. Jason's voice was quiet. Me too. Their fingers connected without thought. The contact was tentative at first, but it became more certain. The stillness between them was no longer uneasy. It was full with possibilities. The following morning brought fresh complications. Dante called Jason. The individuals Jason had apprehended were confirmed members of a new breakaway group. Ex-WSB agents thought to be working with remnants of Victor Cassadine's old network. The purpose wasn't only kidnapping. They had targeted Britt particularly, believing she still had access to classified data Victor had left behind, including those relating to genetic research and covert treatments. The fact that she had once been close to her late father, Caesar Faison, strengthened their view that she could be the key to unlocking something sinister. Britt was completely unaware of all of this. I've left all that behind. I know nothing. Jason believed her, but the threat persisted. And now she was in the heart of it. He told her so. They'll come back. I figured. We need to relocate you. Somewhere safe. She let out a tired laugh. Safe doesn't exist for people like us. Jason could not argue. He had spent his entire life in the crosshairs of danger. But what happened next was not tactical. It was personal. You don't have to go through this alone, he stated calmly. Not again. Britt looked up, his eyes searching for mine. What are you saying? I'm saying, if there's still something between us, I don't want to walk away from it this time. There it was. The moment none of them had anticipated, but both hoped for. Britt did not respond right away. She needed to think. But Jason's statement, that he was even willing to consider something other than protection or obligation, meant more to her than she could say. The following few days were tense. They went from safe house to safe house, staying one step ahead of the operatives attempting to recapture Britt. Spinelli worked overtime to destroy their tracking systems. Sunny even got involved secretly, providing personnel and resources. Surprisingly, Carly gave support rather than intervention. Maybe she realized Jason needed this. Perhaps she respected Britt more than she let on. Anna Devane eventually helped dissolve the network. Key players have been arrested. They discovered that the files they were looking for were nothing more than corrupted data Victor had left as a red herring. All the chaos was for naught. Despite the tumult, something new emerged. Jason and Britt did not rush into romance. There were no dramatic announcements or champagne dinners. That was not their style. They became closer, and each night together felt more natural. The touches grew familiar. The chats grew deeper. One night as they sat on the rooftop balcony, watching the city lights flicker below, Britt leaned in and murmured, "You were my first safe haven, you know. You made me feel like I wasn't broken, even after everything with my father and the damage I caused." Jason turned towards her. "You are not broken. You never were." He kissed her then, not out of want but out of understanding, out of thanks, out of something more powerful than any of them could name. The kiss was not the beginning. It was a continuance of something that had never truly concluded. Jason Morgan and Britt Westbourne, two people who had spent their whole lives avoiding pain, had finally paused long enough to feel it. And maybe this time they wouldn't have to let go. General Hospital spoilers say that Lulu Spencer apologized to Gio Palmieri for her role in revealing her origins. She did make herself appear better to Gio, and he does not blame her. Gio appeared to be warming up to Lulu more than he did to his own parents, Brooke Lynn Quartermaine and Dante Falconeri. Gio is also friendly with his half-brother Rocco Falconeri. Will Rocco and Joe's bond as siblings grow? If that's the case, may it lead to Gio making an unexpected decision? Gio Palmieri has been living with Emma Scorpio Drake and Anna Devane. Gio has been residing with Emma Scorpio Drake and Anna Devane for the past few weeks. While he appears to be doing well there, Gio may feel it is time to relocate and find a new location to reside. Gio says he won't return to the Quartermaine estate, so perhaps he'll find a place on his own. He could also try to get a seat in the PCU dorms, and Sonny Corinthos, his grandfather and one of the only family members Gio isn't furious with, might offer him a room in his house. Rocco Falconeri and Gio Palmieri are bonding. Rocco and Gio have agreed to put brotherhood on weight and become pals. However, they may begin to spend a lot of time together and connect like brothers. They'd both be surprised by this, and Gio and Rocco's time together would quickly become extensive. Gio would inform Rocco about his situation with finding a place to reside. But Rocco may have a suggestion. Lulu Spencer agrees to let Gio Palmieri move in with them. Rocco may recommend that Gio move in with him at his current residence with his mother, Lulu Spencer. Gio will most likely be hesitant at first because he does not believe it is the best idea. Rocco would try to persuade him, and Gio would require some convincing. Lulu would enter the room, listen, and ask Gio if it was what he wanted. Gio would respond that he doesn't know, and Rocco would try again to persuade him to agree. Gio eventually submits and says he will, as long as Lulu is okay with it. Lulu may agree and inform Gio that he doesn't need to make any long-term commitments, and can stay till things calm down with his family. Gio would appreciate and thank her. This may also make Lulu feel better about her remorse over revealing the truth about Gio. But she'd also understand it'd drive Brooke Lynn insane. Brooke Lynn Quartermaine is furious when she learns that her son has moved in with Lulu Spencer. Brooke Lynn would freak out when she found out Gio had moved in with Lulu. She couldn't believe Gio wanted to live with Lulu after revealing his parentage, and all the horrific things she had done. Gio would tell Brooke Lynn that at least Lulu is honest with him. No one else is. Brooke Lynn would face Lulu and tell her that she knows she's doing this to get to her, and she promised to blow up Lulu's world. She could even threaten to reveal the facts about how Rocco was conceived. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Do you think Gio will want to live with his brother and hence Lulu? Will Lulu agree to allow Gio to move in? Will Brooke Lynn vow to kill Lulu now that she has lost her son yet again? Keep watching General Hospital, which airs on ABC weekdays, to find out what happens next. Brooke Lynn Quartermaine had never been one to hide her emotions, particularly when it came to her family. She loved hard, fought harder, and refused to allow anything disrupt the delicate equilibrium she'd managed to establish in her life. But the news she received that afternoon destroyed every ounce of composure she'd worked so hard to develop. Gio was leaving the Quartermain mansion and moving into Lulu Spencer's home. Brooklyn was totally furious. It wasn't only about the relocation. It was the meaning behind it. The choice. The treachery. She took Gio in when he initially arrived in Port Charles. Brooklyn had been there for him when he was confused, furious, and unsure where he fit in. She gave him a home, argued for his place in the family, and overcame her own inadequacies to connect with him. She grew to adore Gio like a younger brother, perhaps even a son, though she'd never say it aloud. For a while it appeared that Gio appreciated that. He had confided in and trusted her. But that trust suddenly seems like a deception. Brooklyn found out from Olivia of all people. During lunch at Metro Court, Olivia casually asked, "Oh, did you hear? Gio is going to stay with Lulu for a bit." Something about the need for space. That was how Brooklyn found out, as if it were gossip. A footnote in somebody else's conversation. She blinked surprised. "What do you mean he is moving in with Lulu? Since when?" Olivia paused, noticing a shift in tone. "I don't know all of the details, honey. I thought he would have told you." He had not. Brooklyn's phone was in her grasp before the check arrived. She phoned Gio 3 times. No response. She sent a simple text message, "We need to discuss now," and drove directly to the Spencer house. Lulu opened the door with her characteristic airy kindness. "I'm Brooklyn." "Hey, where is he?" Brooklyn asked as she marched past her. Lulu stepped away, evidently taken off guard. "In the back. He moved in last night. I believed he would." "He didn't," Brooklyn interrupted sharply. "He didn't think it was important enough to tell me." She discovered Gio seated on the back porch, headphones in and sketchpad poised on his knees. When he noticed her, he looked up with slightly narrowed eyes. He took the earbuds out and braced himself. "I guess you heard," he added quietly. "You guess." Brooklyn snapped. "You didn't believe you should tell me before leaving the home we welcomed you into?" Gio sighed. "I needed space." "From what?" she demanded. "From me. From Quartermains? From those who really care about you?" He stood up and folded his arms. "You don't understand it. Nobody does. I'm tired of being dragged in a dozen different directions. Everyone has an opinion on who I should be, what I should do, and how I should behave. I just need to breathe." "So you're moving in with Lulu?" Brooklyn barked. "You don't believe she has opinions too?" "She listens," Gio explained simply. "She has been where I am, struggling to find her place in a difficult household. She does not push." That stung. Brooklyn took in a slow, angry breath. "You could have at least had the decency to tell me." "I didn't want a fight," he explained. "I didn't want guilt. I just needed a clean break." Brooklyn looked at him, her voice cracking. "So you ghosted me instead?" For a long time neither of them talked. Then Gio glanced away. "I apologize. I did not mean to hurt you." "But you did," she whispered. "You really did." Brooklyn returned to her car and sat still for about 10 minutes. The treachery weighed heavily on her chest. It wasn't simply that Gio moved in with Lulu. It was about everything they'd gone through. Each chat. Every time she defended him to the Quartermains, even when he tested their tolerance. Every late-night conversation. Every ounce of sympathy she extended when he was fighting to fit in. She'd been there for him. And now he was going to choose Lulu. The hurt grew into anger. Brooklyn returned to the mansion with fire in her veins. Ned attempted to calm her down, but she was not in the mood for Quartermain diplomacy. "He's not just a kid anymore," Ned said. "He's trying to find himself. By avoiding those who genuinely care?" She snapped. "Do you think Lulu doesn't care?" Ned inquired carefully. Brooklyn flinched. That was the essence of it, wasn't it? Her difficult relationship with Lulu Spencer. They had never completely gotten along, with their antagonism dating back to high school. Lulu was everything Brooklyn was not. Easygoing, well-dressed, and always the focus of attention without trying. Their competition had lessened over time, yet there was always friction. A subtle tug-of-war for acceptance, particularly from family. And now Lulu had one. She had Joe's trust. His affection. Brooklyn felt as though she had been replaced. Brooklyn attempted to cope with her pain via work in the days that followed. Deception was launching a new campaign, so she immersed herself in logistics, photo shoots, and board meetings. But every time she checked her phone, she hoped Gio had texted. He did not. Maxie noticed. She nudged Brooklyn during lunch. "Are you okay?" "Peachy." Maxie lifted her eyebrow. "Do you want to try it again without the sarcasm?" Brooklyn collapsed into her seat. "He has moved in with Lulu. They didn't even tell me. Just packed up and left." Maxie grimaced. "That's cold." "It is more than that. It's as if all I've done for him is insignificant." "He's young," Maxie explained. Also puzzled. "Remember when I allowed Peter into my life? We make stupid decisions when we're attempting to figure out who we are." Brooklyn offered a bitter laugh. "This isn't just a dumb decision. This is deliberate." Maxie tilted her head. "Do you suppose Lulu put him up to it?" "I don't know," Brooklyn said. "But she sure didn't stop him." By the weekend, the tension had burst. Lulu arranged a modest gathering at her home for relatives and friends. Brooklyn wasn't invited, but she came anyhow. Olivia was there. So was Dante. Gio stood near the hearth, chuckling at what Lulu said. Brooklyn stepped in like a storm. "Glad to see you're settling in," she exclaimed. The room became quiet. Joe's smile faded. "Brooklyn." "No, don't call me Brooklyn. You don't get to pretend nothing occurred. You don't get to joke and play house like you didn't just abandon everyone who helped you." Lulu moved closer. "This isn't the place." Brooklyn turned to her, her eyes flaming. "No? Then where is the location, Lulu? When is the appropriate moment to discuss how you continue to insert yourself into every aspect of my life?" "That's not fair," Lulu stated. "Which part?" Brooklyn demanded. "You've always had to be the golden girl. And Gio too? You simply couldn't resist, could you?" Gio stepped forward. "Stop. This is not about her." "It's all about her," Brooklyn growled. "She let you run from the people who actually care." "I am not running," he yelled. "I'm deciding. For once, I'm deciding what I want." That silenced her. The pain in his voice was genuine. So was the frustration. Brooklyn felt her rage subside just enough to reveal the true wound behind it all. "I just thought what we had mattered," she replied, becoming quieter. "That we mattered." Joe's expression wavered. "You do. You always will. But I need this." Brooklyn nodded stiffly. "Then you're on your own." She turned away before tears could fall. After that night, they hardly spoke. Lulu tried to reach out, texting, "He's hurting too, you know." Brooklyn did not respond. She did not need Lulu's pity. She needed space. Weeks have passed. Sasha, who had gradually become a quiet confidant, finally sat Brooklyn down. "You're not mad at Gio," she added. "You are injured. And you should be. However, he did not depart because you failed him. He left because he is still discovering out what home means." Brooklyn sighed. "I just thought I could be that for him." "You were," Sasha replied kindly. "Perhaps you still are. He only needs to glimpse it from a distance." That night, Brooklyn stood in the music room of the Quartermain home. She sat at the piano, her fingers caressing the keys. She considered creating a song, for Gio and for herself. This song is about letting go without giving up. About family and how it evolves. How it hurts. And how sometimes love requires you to take a step back, even if it crushes your heart. She did not cry this time. She played instead, allowing the music to carry what she couldn't say. And somewhere across town, in a quiet room in the Spencer mansion, Gio sat alone, staring at an unfinished sketch. He thought about Brooklyn, her laugh, her tenacity, her heart. He missed her, more than he could acknowledge. But for now he remained where he was. And she remained where she needed to be. According to a General Hospital update for Thursday, June 26th, Sonny Corinthos will speak with Carly Spencer about his decision to refuse Jen Sidwell's offer for his business. Carly may understand why, but she will also be concerned by Sidwell's threat and the devastation it could cause for those they care about. While Sonny comforts Carly, Sidwell will be yelling commands at Ezra Boyle. When Ezra tries to push back on something, Sidwell makes it obvious that he is in charge. Ezra will be expected to respond with appreciation and a grin, regardless of what Sidwell asks of him. Sidwell will provide updates on some major news, most likely leaving Ezra uneasy with his dark remarks. It appears that Sidwell will be on Lulu Spencer's mind when she speaks with Lucas Jones. Since Lucas is dating Sidwell's son, Lulu will obviously want to know how close Marco Rios is to his father. Marco, on the other hand, will be focused on his mother in Thursday's episode of General Hospital. Natalia Ramirez appears to be ready to say goodbye to Marco now that she has accepted Sonny's offer to start a new life in Belize. Marco was hoping to move forward with the legal settlement he planned, so he'll be furious when he discovers Sonny has talked Natalia into leaving the country instead. Of course, Natalia hasn't really left yet. Because Sonny is so convinced that everything will work out, there's a significant probability his plan is about to fail. While Marco strives to sway Natalia's thinking, Dante Falconeri will experience a shift in perspective. Although Dante previously criticized Jason Morgan's parenting abilities, he will apparently give him some leeway now. Jason definitely adores Danny Morgan, and has been doing his best ever since Sam McCall met his untimely demise. Danny has had some crazy outbursts here and there, but he's just your typical teen. Jason may not always make parenting decisions that Dante agrees with, but they may share some common ground. Jason appears to have some counsel for Dante regarding Giovanni Gio Palmieri. Jason understands the importance of spending quality time with his children, so he may encourage Dante to concentrate solely on the present and future. Gio has been pushing Dante away, but Lulu may make another attempt to reach him on Thursday's episode. Because Brooklyn Quartermain will encounter an upsetting sight, she may come across Lulu cuddling Gio or something along those lines. Lulu is acting almost motherly around Gio these days, so Brooklyn may rip into her soon. On a more positive side, Sasha Gilmore Corbin will have a huge favor to ask Felicia Scorpio. Jason has already accepted to be Daisy's godfather, so Felicia may receive a godmother request next. According to General Hospital teasers, Felicia may accept the honor and commit to support Daisy during her christening before the end of the week. Sonny Corinthos had taken numerous dangerous actions in his life. He had negotiated mafia conflicts, concealed secrets that would destroy families, and defended those he loved with a zeal few could match. But his latest strategy, which involved secretly planning a method for Natalia Ramirez to flee Port Charles with his help, was far more personal. It wasn't just about avoiding danger. It was about protecting someone innocent from the storm that Sonny could see gathering in the distance. And in classic Corinthos form, he had not given anyone the whole truth. Not Nina, Dante, or Natalia herself. Natalia has recently struggled under the microscope. Her connection with Blaze made headlines after certain members of the press learned of the singer's personal life. Natalia, Blaze's mother, had become an unwanted icon in a culture war she refused to participate in. The public pressure had intensified tenfold, following her emotional reaction to Blaze's announcement. Although she claimed to be doing better, accepting and evolving, Sonny could see the toll it was taking. Natalia's composed demeanor belied her vulnerability. The threats she got were not empty. Some of them were ugly, targeted, and unrelenting. He understood from experience how quickly words might become acts. So he started laying the groundwork. Sonny had connections in Belize, a little house off the usual route, a quiet staff dedicated just to him, and enough resources to help Natalia start afresh, if that was what she desired. He offered it as a haven, not an exile. He never used the words witness protection or vanishing act, but the message was clear. If she wanted to be out of the public eye, this was her chance.